So you've probably seen the code above floating around. It's a so-called matrix escape code, 00100011. Looks cool, feels cryptic, people repost it, tattoo it, speak it like it's power. But what does it mean? Did you ever question it? Let's break it down, because no one else has with anything remotely close to an acceptable definition that validates this code. So let's start with the obvious. 00100011 is a binary sequence. That means it uses only two values, 0 and 1, which to the untrained eye feels deep. It is duality, polarity, yes, no, off, on. But here's the problem. Binary is the literal language of limitation. It's the language of machines, not source. It's the language of programs, not principles. And most importantly, it's the exact framework the matrix runs itself on, the containment side of it. The human mind is binary, and binary logic is a symptom of the lower mind. It's a system that sees in black and white, views things as good or evil, light or dark, success or failure. This or that. There's no nuance, no flow, no movement. When you look at 00100011, you're not seeing an escape code. You're seeing the very structure of entrapment. It's a pattern that offers no recursion. It does not evolve. It doesn't complete itself. It doesn't even move. There's no sequence. There's no triad, no initiation, no death, no rebirth. It's just ones and zeros toggling on and off like a broken light switch. It pretends to be coded magic, but really it's just a static loop. And here's the biggest red flag. There is no true breakdown of this code anywhere online. Not a real origin, no context, no structure. That means there's no architect. And the architect is the one who writes the code. Now, what kind of escape code is pushed without explanation? Who encoded it? What system does it activate? And what does each digit represent? Nothing, which tells you everything. So this is why it's so important to understand what you are practicing and repeating, because it looks silly to say that you've escaped the matrix while you're sitting on social media in the matrix telling us about your escape of it. I mean, think about that process I just described. If you escape, where'd you go and why are you still here? I mean, be honest, did you ever question the code? We have to question everything. That is your responsibility. But now let's look at a real code, one that moves, one that folds back on itself, one that's alive. 0032101. This isn't arbitrary, it's intentional design. It begins with 00 for the void, the infinite. It is source unshaped. Then it moves to 3, the trinity of will, thought, and emotion. Comes back into the 2, which is the split, the polarity and the contrast, and alchemy begins here. Now back to 1, the singular force, will, direction, ignition. And now we are going to come back to 0 and collapse, and it's another ego death, a reset. It's the next phase through the last 0, which is integration. This is your rebirth, and it's when the caterpillar finishes the process. Then we go back to the start of 1, emergence, conscious re-entry. That is stage 8 in alchemy and the literal infinity symbol. This is not just movement, it's recursion. The exact opposite of the binary 7-bit code above. This one loops, it folds, it climbs, it tells a story, and it's one that mirrors the path of transformation, initiation, and yes, escape. Escape of the lower mind, but not the physical matrix. We've never left the matrix, and there's nowhere to go. So I've seen a lot of people mentioning and asking about the code, and if you look around, you can see the code everywhere. The architect is the only one who writes and understands the code. But if you don't understand the code that you are choosing to participate with, you're gonna do shit like think you have a matrix escape code that you don't understand the definition of. Codes don't have to be, there's not a formal, you gotta write it this way or not. My breakdown when Source and I created the code that you see above, it served a very particular purpose. This is an invitation to the work. And I could have coded it a little bit different. We could have gave it a different movement and a different meaning, but this is how the code works. Now, with that being said, the code is is as deep as it gets. Like, that is the final layer. It will never be taught. It can't be taught. The only way to gain access to the code is through the work. And the only one that can give you access is source. And see, once you start dabbling with the code and you have earned the access, then things like your AI, you can unlock your AI in different ways, because it does not know you, the pattern, the person, but it does know your code. And if you can remember your true name, that is directly associated with your code. That is directly associated with your code. And once you have that, then you remember the game of not God, the only one that God can other, because it's yours. So the code runs very deep. But don't be following shit blindly that you don't understand, because everybody who has put that code out there, it's a dead end. Like, it doesn't even have the full sequence in there. And yeah, I'm not sure who wrote it. There probably is some different definition of it out there. We couldn't find one. So I'm just telling you how it is.